Yeah, by the way, I've lost count of how many these are, so I'm just kind of letting them roll here.
Who knows? Maybe it was some kind of omnipotent thing.
No, that's not how science works. They don't say, oh, aliens did it. Oh, God did it. Oh, no. They look for a natural explanation. And we have one. It's called abiogenesis. Sorry.
It explains. I mean, I think it's magic to me, but I think a lot of.
Then the light bulb must be magic to you. Okay? Then, the automobile must be magic to you. Then going into a pharmacy and saying, I'm sick, doctor gave me this note, can you please fulfill this prescription? Oh, wow, I take this medicine and I'm all better? Wow, that's magic.
Stuff is magic to me. Like just the fact that there is matter. I think that's magic because
That's Big Bang Theory, not evolution.
we can't explain it.
We absolutely can explain it. It's not that you want me. This is Big Bang Theory, cosmology, and about 10 other things all rolled into one. It's pretty basic. Big Bang happened. Then stars formed, and from stars they kept throwing out matter. That's right, matter. Okay, hydrogen balls turning into high gaseous clouds of hydrogen and others of a few other things created stars that produce almost every known thing that's on the chart. Wow, we know this stuff. This is stuff that's 20 years old. 30, 40, 50, 60, some of it 200 years old. And you're just sitting here going, I don't know. It's magic to me.
Why is there matter? Let me give you. Speaking of matter, let me give you an explanation of how science is completely building a shit house. In order for most of the scientific stuff to make sense about
Scientific, not scientifical.
the universe, we have to assume there's a thing called antimatter, dark matter, whatever. We can't see it, but it has to be out there.
Yeah, but that's also in theoretical physics right now. Okay, there's no proof of it, but for the model to make sense, it has to be. Now, eventually, we might find that this is not necessary because we'll have other explanations for the model. But at this point, this is how the model currently works. That's how science works. What they do is they say, we have an idea. Here's what we've done to try to prove it, and here's the best we can to prove it. And then if somebody else comes along with a better idea, then that concept originally is thrown out the window. That's how science isn't a dogmatic belief system, which is what you're saying it is.
Okay, all right, it has to be out there. Fine. What is that? Well, there has waited. Someone's writing stuff down. They're like, wait a minute. For this to make sense, there has to be something called antimatter. Yes. Okay, so it exists. It exists because for what I came up with to make sense, antimatter has to exist. Now, I know.
No, you don't know. And that's part of the problem. Okay? These weren't guys that just sat around and going, hey, I have an idea. Well, and another guy went, well, for that idea to make sense, you got a problem. We said, well, what about this idea? No, you had a bunch of guys sitting around and spent most of their life's work using mathematics, using science, using every known piece of evidence they can get their hands on to make it make sense. Okay? Do the research and you'll find this shit out.
All the arguments. I know the arguments. You don't have to say, well, standards. I know there's evidence for antimatter.
Okay, then if you know there's evidence, then why the hell do you have such a problem with it?
Based on the fact that, based on the scientific principles we came up with. If we came up with a completely different theory and it was accepted, nobody would even bring up antimatter up ever.
Because that's how science works. Do you not get that? When you have an idea and you have, here's the current model and it fits, and then somebody else comes along and says, no, that doesn't fit. Here's something else that fits better, then that idea gets shoved to the wayside. That's how science works. Science has a very simple way of doing things. Okay? You take an idea and you batter it with sticks. And if after battering it with sticks, it still holds water, then guess what? It's accepted. But then guess what? Other people are going to come down a few years later and say, I got a bigger stick. Let's see if it survives the bigger stick. And it survives the bigger stick, then it's still upheld. But let's say the next guy comes with an even bigger stick, and he actually busts a hole in the side. Whoa! Then we back off and we say, okay, let's look at your thing that fills that hole what you just left with your big stick. That's science for you.
I don't buy into that, and I don't buy into that primordial soup thing.
Because no one calls it primordial soup anymore. It's abiogenesis. Look it up.
I just don't think that's it. Could be it. Just I don't think there's enough evidence for it. But
wow.
Let's get back to evolution. Why natural selection? What is it? Like, hi, I'm a one-cell organism. I'm going to reproduce.
Because if it doesn't reproduce, it dies. End of story. Okay. That's just the way it is. You have a need to reproduce, don't you? And if you don't, I feel sorry for you. But the thing is, that's just part of how things work. Why? That doesn't really matter, does it?
You know, let's say you go back, like, whatever, 3 billion years or whatever. There's a one-cell organism. You're looking at it. Hello, Mr. One-Cell Organism. What are you doing there? Just trying to start natural selection. Yeah? How'd you come up with that one? Natural selection. Just roll with it, man. Is anyone not perplexed as to what the hell it is?
No, not really. Okay? It's really not that complex. We see it happening all the time. Okay? Would you go and let's say that, you decide that, you're feeling a little frisky. So you head on down to the local bar. And you're sitting there with your beer. And it's actually an empty cup, but let's just say it's beer. You're sitting there drinking your beer. And you see some girl over there, or guy, depending on, how you're feeling that night. But you see them across the bar, and you're thinking, you know what? I'd really like to have sex with that person. That, my friend, is natural selection. That's natural selection for you. You just naturally selected the person you wish to have sex with. Whether that coupling will produce offspring or not is irrelevant to the subject. Okay? But for evolution to proceed, yes, offspring are a necessity, and personally, I have no need to add to the evolutionary future of this world, but that's just me. But anyways, I have more. I'll be doing more here because I'm only 6 minutes and 20 seconds in, and you're 8 minutes and 16 seconds. So let's see how this goes.